Welcome to Local Matters, the official La Vergne podcast. I'm Ann Smith, Public Information Officer for the City of La Vergne. Today I have with me Executive Assistant Juliet Williams.
Hi.
Who works for the City Administrator and the Assistant City Administrator. Juliet has been with the City of La Vergne since 2021. Thanks for joining me.
I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so today we're talking about boards and committees within the City of La Vergne.
Cool.
So when it comes to boards and committees, what's your role? What do you do?
Okay, so I work super close with our City Administrator, Bruce, who is also the City Recorder. Fun fact, he is the longest-serving City Recorder of La Vergne. So I take the minutes for a lot of the boards and committees, I just kind of help him with that. He's really runs that and is in charge of that, and everybody goes to him with applications and things, but I'm definitely there to assist him on that.
So what's the importance of minutes? Like, why do you need to take minutes?
So we take minutes, obviously, just to record what's going on. It's not a transcript. It's not, word for word, but basically I guess, a broad version of what happened in the meeting. If something needs to be on the record, obviously always will put that in the minutes. I know we do YouTube most of our boards and our meetings and things, but minutes are vital just for record purposes.
Okay. So even if we didn't have a video recording, we would be able to still go back and look
Absolutely.
At what was recorded in those meetings.
Yep. And we have minutes from the very beginning of...
From 50 years ago?
Yeah, from 50 years ago.
Okay, so what's the purpose of our boards and committees? Why do they exist?
Well, the purpose for this is which is the city, we want input, we want guidance, we want just ideas from our residents, from expertise that they have. We need the input on these boards and committees. We want everybody to have a voice. We want, just people have ideas that maybe our current staff or our current boards and committees don't have. I think Uncle Sam said, "We want you." So we want you. Come and join our boards and committees.
For those who don't know, what's the difference between a committee and a board?
Okay, so quick version of that is the board their basis is in state statutory laws. They exercise the authority independently of other bodies or officials, and you can find that on the MTAS website. Committees typically make recommendations to council. For example, our planning commission, they will recommend something to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So planning commission, they don't have the authority to do that, but they recommend something to the board, and then the board will vote on that. So that's a brief summary of what's the difference.
So when these boards and committees and planning commission make those recommendations, it's like the citizens who volunteer to be on these boards, it's like they're getting their voices heard.
Yes, absolutely. And typically, and this is now just for planning commission that we're speaking of, they will make a favorable or an unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. And, of course, they will consider staff input, just so that everybody kind of has input and they have a broad...
pool of knowledge.
Yes, thank you. It's only 9:30, so I need some more coffee.
And the Board of Mayor and Aldermen does not have to agree with the favorable and unfavorable recommendations.
No, they don't. If the Planning Commission says, hey, this is an unfavorable recommendation, but if the board has a different vision, or if they, sometimes the board may have more information that the Planning Commission doesn't have, and they believe as a body, hey, actually, this project really needs to move forward, so I understand that you guys voted unfavorably, but we think this is going to be good for the city. They absolutely could vote, okay, we're moving forward with it.
So the City of La Vergne has 14 different boards and committees that are on the website. So can you go through those for me real quick?
Yes, and that's true, but I'll get to that in just 1 second. Okay, well, let me just do it right now in 1 second, because 1 second has passed. The only board that is not a city board is the La Vergne Housing Authority, but we open up City Hall for them to use, so... But they are on the website, yes. Okay, we have the Beautification and Arts Advisory Committee. We have Beer Board, Board of Zoning and Appeals, Construction Board of Adjustment and Appeals, Economic Development Advisory Committee, Greenway Advisory Committee, Historical Preservation Advisory Committee, Library Board, the Local Emergency Planning Committee, Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, Planning Commission, Senior Advisory Committee, Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board, and Laverne Housing Authority is the one that is not technically a city board.
So these are all very different. Obviously they're all very different purposes for each of these boards. So, for example, Parks and Recreation, pretty much the lane they stay in is Parks and Rec,
Yes,
correct?
Yes. Of course, events, things like that. A board that just recently met, or I guess I should say is the committee, is the Local Emergency Planning Committee, which we typically meet on the first Monday quarterly at 2 p.m., of course, at City Hall in the boardroom. And this is a pretty cool committee because we work with other, emergency personnel, like we work with the county, with Smyrna, et cetera. And this committee is basically to plan for some type of a disaster or some type of emergency. So there's a lot of input on that with our fire department, with our police department, with our Rutherford County Fire Department. There's lots of input and ideas from all around Laverne and surrounding areas.
Another, I think, interesting board that we may want to go over is Planning Commission.
Yeah.
That one meets twice a month, once for the workshop, once for the meeting.
Yes.
So what does Planning Commission do for the city?
So Planning Commission, it deals with the future development of Laverne.
So new businesses, new neighborhoods.
New subdivisions, things like that. There's 7 commissioners on that board, and that is mayor appointed. The 2 boards that the mayor appoints that does not need confirmation is the Planning Commission and the Beer Board. So there always has to be someone from the board on the Planning Commission. So right now, board members are, of course, Mayor Cole and then Alderman Carol Haas. So both of them sit on that board. Yes, the workshops are in the middle of the month, and of course that deals a lot with businesses that are coming in or new subdivisions and development and things. Our city engineer is in that meeting, our city planner. So definitely lots of future and progress and, changes for the city.
So one of the boards that's a little bit different, other than our Housing Authority Board, which is, like we said, not run by the city, is our Library Board. So can you tell people just a little bit about the Library Board and why it's run differently?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Library Board is a state-mandated board. It also has 7 members. Basically, the board oversees, the library's budget. It establishes policies and things. However, we do have a section in our Laverne Municipal Code regarding the Library Board. So
that allows the mayor to appoint those to the board, the 7-member board?
Yep, and then the board will confirm those appointments. The Library Board usually meets on the second Monday of every month at 5 o'clock. So we would love to have you on that board.
So all of these different positions that people are able to serve on different boards, they have term limits.
Yes.
And I know that they're a little bit different for every board, but typically it's a couple of years, and then you're always able to, if your appointment ends on December 31st of 2023, you're able to say that you would like to keep your spot on the board, and that is taken into consideration when your term expires.
It is. Typically, we as an administration, we will contact the expiring board members and ask if they would like to stay on the board or not. And then, of course, yes, that is, we tell the mayor that, and then that is taken into consideration.
How often do you see vacancies?
Well, vacancies happen all throughout the year because there are different term limits all throughout the year. So my suggestion for anyone listening or anyone wanting to be on one of the boards is just to look at our City Hall Facebook page and our website. Channel 3 also does a lot of updates for vacancies or upcoming, expirations and things. That way you can see, okay, this is when I need to get my application in. Speaking of applications, you can find that on our website. You can also come to City Hall and fill out an application. You can bring it to me or Bruce. Bruce will get that on the agendas, and then that's how the board or the mayor appoints and votes.
And you can also email.
Absolutely, yes. You can email us. You can email Bruce, especially because he has to review all of that.
So I think we already went over this, but who kind of appoints the board and committee representatives?
The mayor appoints, but then they also need to be confirmed by the board. So the only two that the mayor doesn't have confirmations, I believe, are just the beer board and planning commission.
So he gets to just say, Juliet, you're going to be on the planning commission based on the applications he received.
Yep.
So who gets to be on a board? Who gets to be on a committee?
Anybody that's a resident of Laverne, that's who can apply. We would love to have, people from all over the city apply, and kind of spread the word. Hey, come be on a board, come be on a committee. The more ideas we have, I think the better.
And the more diverse. You get a wider pool of knowledge.
Yes. Because some community or neighborhood may have a need or may want to improve something that the other side of town doesn't necessarily think about or know about. So we want to make Laverne awesome for all citizens and all residents.
And I think what's cool is all these boards and committees are open to the public.
Yes, they are.
So it doesn't even matter if you're not on a board or if you apply and you don't get to be on a board, you're still able to come to these meetings, talk to these representatives.
All meetings are public. So if there's a meeting or if there's a board that you're considering, come to the meetings and just listen and see what people are saying. Especially the planning commission, because that is affecting the whole community, the whole city. Talking about even like rezoning and changes to the zoning ordinance and things like that. Like that is all discussed at planning commission. And those are things that really affect families and citizens and, building and site plans and subdivisions and things, regulations, all of that. It's a big deal, and it's important that we have awesome, great people representing our city and moving our city forward responsibly.
Anything else? What else? Is there anything else important that you think people need to know about the boards and committees?
I would say first, come and check it out. Come check out some of the boards. Come sit in one of these meetings. We have public forums that you can come and speak if you have questions and things. Anybody can come to City Hall anytime and come find me and ask me. I'd be happy to help. I'm here every single day. If you have questions, call or email us. Call me. I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you about any questions you got. I'm here at most of these meetings and things. Just come sit or heck, go on our YouTube channel and just listen to some of these meetings. If this is something that you're interested in or you have a passion about, something that you want to see changed, it's easy to, I think we like to keyboard warrior, but let's make a difference. Come and be part of the solution.
And that's what I was going to say too. Almost all of our boards and committee meetings are posted to our Laverne YouTube channel, and that's Laverne 37086. So those are available online there. Jules, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. We've been speaking with Executive Assistant Juliet Williams. For more information on the City of Laverne or to look up all of our different boards and committees, go to lavernetn.gov. Until next time, I'm Ann Smith. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.